welcome to Slapendipity, Hobos of Happy Slappy Town. I am Eric, who you may call Eric, and with me is Gibby, who you may call Devon, and it is finally time for the long-awaited episode of the universe.
The episode of the universe for everyone?
For everyone, everywhere.
Would you say the episode is...
Universal, that's
Oh
right,
my
I would say that.
god.
So, nothing, just, keeping it light, nothing crazy.
The first thing that happened when we got to Universal Studios Park is we saw big roller coaster. Up and downy, no loop-de-loops, but lots of spins. And we said, heck yeah, let's ride on big roller coaster. What happened when we got in line? What happened when we got in line?
A staff employee was like, "Hey, do you two guys mind following me?" And we went, okay, you work here." And he took us to a test chair, and we didn't fit.
Yeah, we were too tall, too fat. The lap bar didn't close. Very stupid.
I understand it's for safety reasons, so even the smallest leeway is a risk, and I totally get that. But the bar, it closed. Maybe not the most closed, but it closed.
I've never experienced that before, ever. Including in, I don't know if American lap bars are designed like, oh, we'll make it go one click further for fat people.
I bet you they do.
So I'm like, I've never experienced this before. This is so weird. Very upsetting.
I think I told you to watch, because I knew that. I was like, oh, I have a very strong chance of not fitting on at some of the rides, at least. Maybe all of them, who knows? Because I'm just a big, fat American man. So
quite upsetting.
Upsetting. Rough way to start your theme park day, to get in line and then get told, no ride for you.
Yeah. There was another, right when it happened to us, we took a few steps away and there was a girl crying. And I think what we figured was that the same thing had happened to her.
Yeah, that's our guess, at least.
Yeah, very, very upsetting. There's another big thrill ride roller coaster, but it's one that goes upside down and it goes really high, and so it has shoulder straps. And so I think the issue is that the ones with the shoulder straps are actually significantly more safe. This was just a lap bar. And so had we gone on the bigger upside down thrill ride, I'm sure we would have fit, but that one was closed for repairs. So we could not go on any thrill rides.
Really unfortunate, because it was the Jurassic Park one, which I think is maybe the best thrill ride I've ever been on.
Oof.
And I was gonna, oh my gosh, Devin, are you ready? Oh, it's closed for repairs. Oh.
Quite upsetting.
Just some unfortunate timing.
Yeah, so Universal Japan has the Nintendo Land. Mm-hmm. The one in Florida also has Nintendo Land, but the one in Japan is the biggest Nintendo world. Kind of like how the one in Japan has a Harry Potter world, but the one in Florida is a bigger Harry Potter world.
Yes.
So we had, in order to get to Nintendo Land, you basically have to enter into a lottery, and it tells you what time you go. So we had some time to kill before the Nintendo Land opened. So we decide, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to Harry Potter Land first, and then we'll go to Nintendo when we have time. So we walk into Harry Potter Land, and it's you turn a big corner, and you're just in Diagon Alley, and then you walk around
through some forests and the...
Yes, you pass the Hogwarts Express.
The flying car.
And they're blasting the music from the movie, and there's just stuff around, and Hogwarts Castle's in the distance. And I'm just like, Eric, I'm going to start crying.
And then you didn't.
And I didn't. So
But I could
there's
feel it in your soul.
it was deep in my soul. There were two rides in that land. One is the Hippogriff ride, which is just a roller coaster, and the other that we will talk about later is called the Forbidden Journey or something.
Yeah, I, yeah, I think it's like the Forbidden Journey of Hogwarts or like the Escape from Hogwarts, something like
So
that.
we get in line for the
Hippogriff.
Hippogriff ride, which brings the line wraps around Hagrid's hut, and there's just really cool things to look at, and we're taking pictures, and I'm like, oh my god, in the distance over a mountain, you can see the flagpole from Nintendo Land, and I'm taking pictures of Hogwarts Castle, and we're so thrilled we're going to get on our first ride, and we get to the front of the queue, and we sit down on the roller coaster, and a lady
We
comes
bring the
by
bars down.
and says, you have to be able to close the bars yourself. And I say, oh, but like it won't click. And she goes, yep, you two are too fat for this ride.
We go, oh man.
And we're like, okay, and we get off. There's this really, really tall, I think American or Australian, I don't remember, but like football player built dude who also gets kicked off. So he was kicked off because he was too tall.
Yeah, he
Um,
was easily 6'6" or something. Um,
and
he
then
was like, oh yeah, my legs were too long. Like my knees came up too high. They wouldn't let me in on the ride. And I
yeah,
was like, damn, that's gotta hurt for other, like, I'm fat. Oh, that sucks. But I kind of figured this might happen. Oh, you're tall? Get fucked, idiot. Be shorter.
yeah, like you can't even change. You can't change how tall you are. And I guess
Um,
what we discovered is just that like America has big and tall seats, and
yeah.
Japan doesn't.
Well, and one of the nice things I will say with this time, uh, because we like got into the ride and like were pulling the bars down. So when they kicked us off, they gave us like a ticket to like skip a line, essentially like a fast pass or whatever for select rides, and they were like, "Here, you just show this, and like you can go on another ride basically instantly because we should have tested you to go on this ride before you got all the way to the coaster."
Yeah, so that was nice. We went on the Forbidden Journey ride, which has you
Yes.
snake your way through Hogwarts, like the interior. There was no line. It was literally a 5 minute wait. Like we were walking through like the dungeons, and we passed the Mirror of Erised and the Sorting Hat, and I was kind of like, I wanna like stop and look at these things, but like there was just no line, so we basically just walked up the queue to the front. We didn't know what the ride was, so we're just kind of
I
like
knew what the ride
getting
was.
there. Hmm?
I knew what the
Oh,
ride
I
was.
didn't know what the ride was.
Yeah,
Um,
I
you'd
was
been on
like,
it
I think
before,
this is an incredible ride. I think you'll really like it, Devon.
and I didn't
It's
know what it
also a
was.
little scurry.
And
I didn't want to ruin it for you.
yeah, so we get like you have to like put stuff in lockers, and then we
Yep.
go and we get to this little area, and it has a moving floor, and you have to step on the floor and then strap yourself into a seat. And I'm like, oh, I guess it's not a roller coaster. I guess it's kind of like Haunted Mansion or something like that. And so we get in the seat, and I'm like, well, here
And
goes
it's
whatever this
shoulder
is.
straps.
Shoulder straps in a seat, four
You
seats
did,
to a car. And I'm like, well, here goes whatever this is going to be. It's
and then what
wild, y'all.
happens?
It's wild.
Is it bad because it's not a roller coaster?
No, it is quite good. You're basically suspended from the ceiling, and it goes up and it goes down, and it dips you forward and it dips you back. And it flies you through these giant areas with like moving props and animatronics. So, like at one point, Dementors come after you. And the biggest trick that it does is it has these rotating screens that kind of remind me of like when you're getting your eyes tested at the doctor. So basically, it dips you into this concave screen. So you're just staring at this like the inside of a contact lens, and it's projecting like Harry on his broom flying away from a dragon. And as the thing on the screen, as Harry, goes down and you follow him, the cart you're on dips you forward and goes down the roller coaster track. So you feel like you're going down on a broom, like you're going over a hill. And so it really adds to the, you're like, oh my god, I feel like I'm really flying because I see all these visuals around me while the cart is actually following those motions. And then it's like, oh no, the dragon's coming. And then it quickly, turns you away from the screen where the dragon's right behind you. And now you're face to face with a giant animatronic, like really in your face. And you're like, oh my god, that's so scary. And it blows smoke in your face.
Dragon head.
It's
it
incredible.
Breathes fire in your face.
It shoots out warmth and steam.
Basically fire.
And then you continue, and then there's like, oh, the big spiders, the acromantulas from the Forbidden Forest, and then they spray water at you when one of them like shoots venom, and you're like, oh no, the water venom, it got me. And then there's Dementors, and then again you fly around again. And it's just this incredibly cool experience with some of the greatest like set pieces and I guess just sets and animatronics, and the screen is so cool. And it's not a thrill ride, but you do go like up and down and roller coasters and spinny around. And it was just incredibly cool. And it was completely in Japanese, and so I had no idea what was going on, but it's fine. You're just running away from some monsters.
I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. A dragon.
And then you get to the end, and they're like, you did it! Like, you won the Quidditch match or something. I'm like, wow, we really did Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. And then it leads you out into a gift shop, and I'm like, I'm buying all the pins. I'm buying so many pins. I'm going to get all the pins, Eric. And I did.
Get all the pins?
There were some blind boxes, which I really don't like. So I'm like, I guess I'll just get like 3 blind boxes and hope that they're good ones. And also get like all the non-blind box pins. And we're looking around, and I'm in line. And on the desk of the checkout person is this little animatronic owl, like Hedwig. And it's turning its head and flapping its wings and hooting. And I'm just like, what the heck is that? And they have them on sale. And what they are is they're shoulder riders. So you put a magnet under your shirt on your shoulder, and then it can sit on the magnet. And you turn it on, and it reacts to sound. And so when it hears sound, it'll hoot and turn its head and flap its wings. And I'm like, I'm getting me one of those. And so I got me one of those. What?
Are you telling me you just bought a miniature animatronic for the low price of
It was like $60.
money?
Yeah, I think it was like $60 American dollars, because everything's cheap in Japan. They could have gotten away with selling much more than that.
Oh, yeah. I was very insistent on not buying anything. And then I saw that, and I was like, dang, that's a good, the potential.
It's a good product.
It's a little animatronic. And I'm not huge into it as you are, per se, especially when it comes to bears, but like, I like me a little fun guy, but I did not buy it.
Yes.
I just couldn't bring myself to do it.
I love him. And so I put him on my shoulder, and so for the rest of the trip, I was wearing him. And so many compliments, girls going, OMG, he's so kawaii. I think that's what they're saying because they're Japanese. I definitely heard kawaii. Riding on my shoulder, people pointing and laughing. Like, I'd walk by someone, and they'd look, and they'd go like, ooh, and then he'd move, and they'd go like, oh my god. One girl came up, and zero English, absolutely no English, asked where to get it. And I'm like, okay, it's like 2 stores down on the left. So I tried to use like sign language to like, not sign language, but like pointing to show her like where to get it. Charades. And then maybe half an hour later, we're walking, and I see the same girl, and she has one, and she like runs up to me, and she just like points, and I'm like, yes, very happy for you. That's so cool. And we go and we get wands, and by we get wands, I mean I got a wand. Because Eric, I guess, didn't care because he's a silly man. I
do not care about Harry Potter.
You're dumb and wrong. Sorry. I didn't want to get a wand that a character in the movies has. because the wands that you buy at Universal aren't like top tier amazing quality. It's kind of like the lightsabers in Disney. It's like if you want a real movie prop replica lightsaber, you buy it from a different seller. The Disneyland ones are just kind of expensive for the sake of being expensive, and they're not the best props. So these wands are like plasticky and kind of lame. And so for me to be like, I'm going to get Dumbledore's wand, would be kind of silly. So I definitely wanted a non-character specific one. And I picked one out that I enjoyed. And so then I carried that around. So I'm walking around with my wand and my owl on my shoulder. And we get butterbeer, and I splurge on the metal cup. So I'm walking around with my butterbeer cup and my owl on my shoulder and my wand. And I'm like, this is just magical and amazing, and I love it. Yeah, and then we walked around for a while, and I wanted to get churros, but they weren't open yet or something because this was like the first thing we did in the morning, and I thought it was just a magical, incredible experience.
Magical.
And I think we went on the forbidden journey again right then.
I think so. I want to point out a little silly Billy moment you had because you bought a wand and it was interactive with the park. So like at different points in the park, you could do magic and like cast a spell. And they were, there was usually a staff person at each one. So they were like, "Oh, would you like to practice your magic?" And I was like, "Devin, you gotta do some magic. You bought an interactive wand. You gots to." And you went, "No, I don't wanna." And I went, "What are you doing?" And when you say we had butterbeer, you had butterbeer. And as you were drinking your butterbeer and I was just waiting, we just found a spot in a corner and I just peeked around and there was this woman with a wand flicking it around at this like open door. And I was like, she's doing magic. Devin, go do magic. And you say, "No." And I said, "Can I take your wand so I can do magic?" And you said yes. And this poor woman, she tried like 6 times in a row and could not perform the spell. And I was in line behind her, and her boyfriend was like filming her, trying to get it to work, or trying to record her of when she got it to work. And the staff person saw me and was like, "I'm sorry, lady. I gotta move you to the side. Like someone else gets a turn." So the staff person demonstrated like the movement, and you gotta say the words, and I don't know what they were anymore. I know the movement. And I did it once and I failed. And she was like, "No, kind of do it like this." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I do it again, and then it works, and bubbles fly out from the door, and I have done a magic, and I'm like, "Wow, this was so cool." And then the boyfriend is just kind of trying to stop himself from laughing as the girlfriend just looks on befuddled. And I turn back and Devin, I think you were recording me.
Yeah, I think I have a video of you doing it.
And then this like group of guys saw me coming out and they were like, "Whoa, what's going on there?" And then the woman tried to do it again. She failed. And I think on her 7th time or something, she got it to work and she like screamed with joy. And her boyfriend was just like, "Yeah, all right, babe."
Thank God it's over.
And then you were like, "Wow, that does look really cool. Eric, hold my owl, hold my beer mug, watch the bags, and I'm gonna do that." And I said, "Okay." And then you did that, and you were like,
Yep.
"Whoa, that was cool."
It sure was a thing.
You downplay it so much now.
I just was not. I didn't care
You
very
weren't in the
much.
role play mindset.
Yes. Anyway, our time in Harry Potter Hogsmeade came to an end because we had to go to Nintendo Land. And so, owl on shoulder and wand in hand, we head off to the Nintendo Land. And Nintendo Land also has interactive elements, where if you
Yes.
buy a bracelet, You can do things like punch a question mark block and collect a golden coin, or press it against, like a virtual golden coin, like Mario, or press it against certain spots and then stuff happens. So we get our bracelets. I get Diddy Kong, because I love Donkey Kong Country. What do you get, Yoshi?
Because, yeah, Yoshi all the way.
Yoshi's cool. He's my Mario Kart main. And
Nice,
we
nice.
go to the Nintendo Land, and it is also magical.
What about it? Isn't it just a Mario?
So yes, it's just a Mario and then a Donkey Kong,
Isn't
but
it Mario's body laid out as an amusement park?
huh?
Isn't it Mario's body just laid out as a,
Mario's
to be an
body?
amusement park? Yeah, yeah. It's all just Mario. The amusement park, the entrance are his feet. You crawl up them, and then the rides are his hands. I,
Are you
I'll
okay?
stop
Do you have a
now.
fever? Are you well? Do you have brain damage?
No.
Okay. Sure. Whatever's going on here, I don't understand. I'm a little scared.
uh, I just gotta keep you on your toes, that's all.
Okay, so you walk over Mario's toes. No. So you enter through a giant warp pipe, and
Now that
I
was cool.
I don't think that it is quite as cool as Hogwarts because there's no recognizable area for you to
No.
go, wow, I really am in Mario. It's just like hills, and there's animatronic Goombas, and there's coins, and there's question mark blocks. I will say, walking in, you walk through what is technically Peach's castle, and on the floor is the mural from Mario 64. And seeing that made me go, oh my god, it's real. But that was literally it.
The cry.
Just like the thing on the floor, it's like, oh, it's that. And
Well,
then
the roof was pink bricks and stuff, but
kinda
and they
lame.
had the paintings from '64 too, didn't they?
Yes. But yeah, definitely not the same as Hogwarts. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, it was cool to just look around. There was stuff to see. We went on the Mario Kart ride, which the most fun part is that the ride queue takes you through Bowser's castle.
Yeah,
Um, and we went on. Did we go besides Donkey Kong? Was there another one
we
in
did not
Nintendo Land? No.
because there was this. I don't know. It's not an issue, I guess, but like, uh, a lot of their things are activities, kind of like you would do at a carnival. Of like, from my understanding, we didn't take super detailed looks into them, but like, here's a water gun, aim at the target, and like race it to the top, and you win. Or like do a memory game or something, and like by doing these like carnival activities, you would win keys. And then if you got like 3 keys, you could go to challenge Bowser Jr. at something. And we just didn't do that.
Yeah. But it was cool. And I think the Donkey Kong Land was cooler. The Donkey Kong Land was an addition, and so we go in there, and there's like Donkey Kong's house, and a man in a giant animatronic mascot suit comes out as Donkey Kong, and he stomps around and takes pictures, and we're like, wow, it's Donkey Kong. And there's a little crate, and if you press your bracelet to a spot, then Rambi the Rhino sticks his head out, and it's a really cool animatronic, and you're like, wow, it's Rambi the Rhino. And one of the
Wow.
stores is Funky's airplane. I'm like, oh my god, it's Funky's airplane. And then we went on the Donkey Kong minecart ride, which is very cool because, again, I love Donkey Kong Country. And we're in the queue, and there's this cool, like, ancient temple theming, and you go through, and there's a giant life sized animatronic of Cranky Kong talking to you, yapping the whole time in Japanese. And there's Squawks the parrot, and it's just like, this is like so. This is the best ride queue theming that we've seen in any of the parks, period.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense because it's the most, I think it's the most recent thing that we did. And then the roller coaster was cool, and we fit on it, which is good. I don't know why this one we fit on and the other ones we didn't, but sure.
it was newer, so they were like, ah, dang it, we got to build with American tourists in mind.
In both the Bowser's Castle and then also the Donkey Kong ride, you get corralled through what I call like the cattle herding stanchions, and so you're just kind of going back and
Yeah.
forth, and you're walking through just the line, and the
Yeah,
thing
it's
that separates, yeah,
well, I was just gonna say it's the normal like snake shape, like that you see in even in stores, like just to make people take a long time.
yeah, and the fences are made of metal, and
Hmm.
the Hedwig I have on my shoulder is magnetic and sticks to metal. So I
Oh my
would I would
gosh.
take her off and place her on the poles separating the line queue, and have her just sit there. And the people around us would look over and be like, "What's that little thing sitting on the metal?" And then it would squawk and flap its wings and turn its head, and they'd be like, "Oh my god!" So I became like people were like taking pictures, like people like 10 people down from us in line were like taking pictures of her sitting on the thing. I became the hero of the line, entertaining
You
people with my
became
Hedwig.
free advertisement for the Harry Potter land.
Yes, and it's good free advertising because it's a fantastic product.
Yes. Which, and I don't think we said it earlier. How did you see? Oh no, wait, we did. You saw an
Yeah,
employee with it, and you were like, "Wow, that's such good advertising."
yeah.
And then you carried on the legacy
It was
of
genuinely so cool. And I felt like oh, there was one time when an employee was walking past me and basically in Japanese like complimented me, was like, "Oh, cool little guy."
Cool Owl.
And so I felt, this goes back to a Jenny Nicholson video. We talked about her a couple times, where she's like, if you're at an amusement park and you choose to like dress up or you buy the really expensive item, then it makes it feel like a more premium experience when the employees like comment on it. Because if an employee, the people walking around, can only interact with like one out of every 50 guests, them interacting with the person who spent a lot of money on a product makes that person feel like the product was more worth it. And I 100% agree that that is what happened, and that it made me
Feel
feel
like a
better.
special boy.
Yes, and I loved it. I love my
That's
owl
good.
son.
We came up with a name for it back then. I don't. Do you remember?
We didn't come up with an official name. I kept asking you, like, what's the Japanese word for snow, or the Japanese word for white, or the Japanese word for, like, small? And we did not come up with anything, so it is still unnamed, which is unfortunate. I don't wear it in my videos just
Working on
because it
that.
makes noise. So I just have it in the background of my set, and she's been there since we've been back. So all my more recent videos, you can see her sitting in the background, turned off.
Wow.
Wow.
Do you mean napping?
Her eyes are open, but yeah, sure.
Some people sleep with their eyes
Sure.
open. I don't know if birds do.
Mhm. I
Wouldn't that be
do
wild?
I do now have a shoulder rider. I got it from the movie theater when I went to go see. Technically, I got it when I went to see a movie a few weeks ago. I don't remember what I saw. But it's Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon, and so he sits on my shoulder now. And his
Does
name,
he move and
no, he's just plush.
I see.
His name is Ozzy.
Oh.
So now I have
Right.
a puppet that I wear on my left hand and a shoulder rider on my right shoulder, and then Clifford behind me because I have to wave my hand around for to make children watch my videos.
Well, so two questions. One, why'd you pick Ozzy?
It was recommended to me by my commenters, so it a couple meanings. One, Toothless looks like a bat, so Ozzy Osbourne bit a head off a
Oh,
bat.
yes.
It fits. A character in FNAF is named Oz, so it also fits with the FNAF theming. And then my hand puppet of Toy Freddy is named Toto.
Right.
So now I have Toto and Oz, so there's just sort of like a Wizard of Oz theme going on there. So
Uh,
it's multi-layered. So I thought Ozzy was great because again, bat-like character in FNAF named Oz, Wizard of Oz theming. It goes great.
okay. Okay. And how do you feel that you are turning your office into the security room from FNAF?
with
Like you're
animatronics and
surrounding
characters.
yourself with animatronics, looking at a screen all day, jumping from monitor to monitor, going,
I feel like my characters are full of love and appreciation and will not be evil and kill me.
okay, well, let's hope that maintains truth.
And if it does happen, upload it to video and get a bunch of views.
Okay. Wait, guys, you don't understand. I'm not being gross. It was his dying wish.
We capped off Nintendo Land with a visit to Donkey Kong and got a picture.
Yes.
You did not purchase your photo, but I did, and so I have very high quality photos of me on my knees with my fist on the ground doing the Donkey Kong pose next to Donkey Kong, and I love him, and it was great, and I love Donkey Kong, and that was Nintendo Land.
We went another day and we did more of the things.
But we didn't go to Nintendo Land on the second day.
We did not. We went back to Harry Potter. We rode the Jaws ride.
We did the
stuff like that.
Jurassic Park log flume, which was pretty dope.
Yes, which I did not like.
It was the best ride. It had a big drop. It was the closest thing to a thrill ride we could do. Eric doesn't want to go on it because he doesn't want to get wet. And then
this is correct.
And then he purchases. He spends money on a poncho to wear, and we ride the ride, and we go on the big drop, and I get 3 drops of water on me.
Yeah, and I got like 100,000 drops of water on me. It's about where you sit.
And then we go on it again, and we have this argument where I'm like, Eric, we didn't even get wet the first time. You didn't need the poncho, and you definitely don't need it now. He's like, no, it's where you sit. So we switched seats, and I still got no water on me.
It's because the person sitting in front of you took water for you.
Anyway, pretty cool ride. Giant animatronic dinosaur T-Rex chases you, and then big fall, very thrillsome. It runs at you. It runs at you.
It lunges at you. It lunges.
Very cool. I liked it.
I don't. It's too spooky.
What I'm getting is that you're scared of animatronics like dinosaurs and dragons.
Yeah, I think the dragon from Harry Potter Land is a little spooky, too. It's scary. I'm no shame in saying that.
Sure.
They're freaky.
Sure.
If I was a maintenance worker in those things and it was like, okay, Eric, go perform the monthly maintenance on the T-Rex or the dragon, I'd be like, you can fire me. If that's what needs to happen, I'm not doing that.
Do you want to tell them about the ride? The ride. The riding ride that rides rides? Yes. The one we went on upwards of 12 times.
I don't remember the name.
That's because it was in Japanese.
Do you?
No, it was in Japanese.
What?
So, it's an indoor dark ride.
Oh, I hate this. It was like Galaxy Quest. I don't
know.
What?
Anyway.
Okay, anyway.
You're on a roller coaster that can spin around 360. Entirely indoors. And again, it doesn't go upside down, but it does go up and down, and it goes in like a little spiral shape. And then added to the ups and downs and the turns is the fact that it spins, and so there's just a lot of motion. And it was definitely the most thrilling ride we went on. And it loops you through an asteroid field and lights.
Also, the story of the ride is that you are helping Princess Sun, like, save the galaxy because not enough stars are being born. So you have to collect, like, galaxy dust and bring enough of that into a like star that is trying to form, and if you get enough points, you go into this like if anyone's played Kingdom Hearts 2, you go into the
What?
Xemnas final boss
Oh,
battle
yes, of
where
course.
you just deflect lasers. Anyway, for non-Kingdom Hearts people, imagine literally like 100 mirrors like covering a room and it's dome shaped, and there's just a light bouncing off each and everything all at once, as if you're being in the birth of a star. And because they had little buttons, and if you press the buttons enough times, you like collected galaxy dust or whatever. Because we did fail to either we failed or the ride
The
failed,
ride
but
failed.
we did go through the big mirror room, and the lights didn't go off or anything, so it was just vaguely dim lighting, and we just went through it, and we were like, oh, this is
Y-
disappointing.
Yes, you turn the corner and the music blares, and it's a big drop, and it gives you a seizure, and that's the climax. It was pretty cool. But as Eric said, like the sixth time we went on, it just didn't happen. So we just kind of corkscrewed down a thing with no light, and we're like, we know it's not supposed to do that
Yeah,
because we've done it 6 times. Very odd.
yeah. Um,
Very odd. And the ride would never break again, right, Eric?
yeah, definitely not. Definitely only happened once
So
at time.
there was like never a line for it. So we just kept going on it because, again, good thrill ride. There are multiple seats you can sit in, right? So imagine when you're going up a hill on a roller coaster. You can be in the front facing forward, in the front facing backwards, in the back facing forward, or in the back facing backward. And so, based on what seat you're in, it sort of changes the things you see as you're spinning and corkscrewing and like all this stuff. So we're like, there's re-rideability, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
You can lift up your hands and scream, or you can like lean forward and ride with the spin. Very cool. So again, over
Well,
the two
mhm.
days that we went on it just a bunch of times. And
At
on the
least a
last day,
dozen.
yeah, at least 12. Um, we went on it and we got off and we're like, that was the last one. And we look at each other and we're like, one more. So we immediately get back on and we get on the ride and we go up the hill and we do like half of it. And then the ride stops on a hill and the
Yep.
lights are all off. And an announcement
And
comes over the announcement in Japanese, and we're like, okay.
something to the effect of, please hold on, technical issues.
So we sit there for a few
Which,
minutes, and then the ride continues, and we do the next room or two, and then the ride stops
mhm,
again. And we're
mhm.
like, rut-row. And then we finish the ride. It goes through and we get to the end. And we're like, well, that was like exciting. And then people, again, in Japanese, come up to us and they're like instead of leaving, go here. And we're like, oh, maybe they're going to give us those ride passes that they gave us when we were too fat so we can go on a different ride without waiting in line. But no, everyone who had ridden it when it broke down got looped to the front of the queue and immediately got to ride it again.
Yeah.
So our
Oh,
our last time turned into wait no one more, which turned into we're doing it again and cutting the line.
yeah.
Very very cool. I highly recommend whatever it was called.
It was very fun ride. Very cool. It was also indoors, which I think is part of the reason we rode it so much, because it was like drizzling, or like it was going to rain, and we were like, let's go on an indoor ride.
Yep. You want to tell
Um,
them
uh,
about the two other indoor activities we did in Universal? That was all the rides, but we did two more things.
um, I don't remember the one, but the one that stuck with
Bro,
me is Beetlejuice's horror rock
that's
show.
right, Detective Conan,
Oh,
which we did first
oh my
because it was
gosh.
raining. You just totally forgot that happened.
I did, yes.
My God.
We
Anyway,
did Detective Conan, what, like the High Tower. I forget the subtitles. Too many subtitles in the world.
it was
It
in
was a.
Japanese,
Uh,
and it's a show, so there's live actors on stage with stuff going on screen behind them.
Yes. The backgrounds were like TV, like, I mean, huge screens, but like, you know, whatever. Like, you ride an elevator all the way to the top of this tower, and then like the screens are the star in the sky, and the roof of this tower, and like the floor would like drop out from under you, and that's the extent that it moved. Um, but it was a Detective Conan story, which is just imagine just like a Sherlock story of like, whoa, the gentleman thief is going to kidnap this jewel, and we need a good. We're gonna host this elaborate thingy to lure him out into a trap, and then shenanigans occur, and then the fight scene, and then live actors of those people like come out and like run around the audience, fight, quote unquote. Um, and then it like transitions from like the live actor is throwing the MacGuffin to a character that is a digital character on the screen, and they catch it, and then it turns into the MacGuffin becomes this like 2D screen representation, and it, like they play with that of like what is live action digital by messing with that, and that was cool.
Yeah, I liked a guy descended from the ceiling and then fought people.
Yeah, that was, yeah, he did do that. Um,
And then, because it was raining, when the show was over, we went to the Beetlejuice rocking Monster Rock. And you can tell them about that because it was your favorite thing ever.
it was my favorite thing that we did, maybe, of the entire park, because
Insanity.
there's so much to it. So before Beetlejuice was as big, it was just the Universal Rock and Horror Show. Now Beetlejuice is big. Beetlejuice hosts it. He has some banter with the other performers as well as the audience, and it is a rock and roll show featuring Beetlejuice and other like classical
It's a vampire,
monsters,
Frankenstein, Wolfman, etc.
werewolf. Um, and then they had Hip and Hop, who were like succubus. I don't know. They're just like, here's Hip and Hop. They don't really say, so whatever. Um, and so they do just a bunch of rock music performances from varying decades. They played La Vida. They played This Is Terrible of Me. But just like classic ones that if you had any inclination towards music that I do not have, you would just be like, oh yeah, famous rock music. I thought it was really cool and really good because the Beetlejuice guy, these were all live actors, live shows. As far as I could tell, the performers were singing the songs.
They absolutely
Like
were not.
the guy who was doing La Vida did not sound anything like the singer though. So like maybe he recorded himself in a studio singing it, and then he's lip
Yes, they're lip
syncing on
syncing.
stage.
Yes.
But they aren't doing the original artist's
No.
voice. I also still think they could have been singing. Um, I don't know enough about that stuff to dispute it, so I'm just gonna believe they were actually singing.
Well, you're
But
wrong.
like Beetlejuice was really charismatic. It was all in Japanese mostly, except for the singing. And they each had like character types. So the werewolf, Wolfman, was like the goofy comic relief character who leaned into the dog archetype. The vampire, who was maybe Dracula, was kind of like a womanizer, possibly chauvinist. You don't get a great look into all of them. It's like a half-hour show. They got to keep it tight. Frankenstein, though, is like cool and well respected by everyone, and everyone just kind of loves him. Frankenstein's wife is just like really loyal to him, and like Dracula will hit on her, and she like shoves him away, and She's a strong, independent woman who just loves her husband. And Hip and Hop are kind of like teases in like this a similar way that like Dracula is trying to womanize and like hit on the other characters. Hip and Hop kind of lean into it and then like shove him away. Um, Very fun. There's a good group dynamic. I feel like you can tell they're a bunch of friends just hanging out, singing some rock music like they want to. Good vibes, good song choices, even though I can't remember them. I'm so sorry. But you can watch it on YouTube and I'm sure other places as well. And you just, type in Beetlejuice rock and roll horror show. It's like half an hour. Great. Incredible.
It was fine.
Devin doesn't like
It was
music or the theater. The
that's
stage was
wrong.
also had a good. It was a fun set. There was like tombs and cemeteries and like big trees and a little tower. Great stuff.
It was a good thing to do while it was raining out. I'm glad we did.
It would be a good thing to do even if it wasn't raining.
Sure.
I think it was better than the It's a Small World.
Oh my god, yes, 100%. And better than Detective Conan
Okay.
as well.
Okay. Well, you could have fooled me.
Okay, it was fine. I liked the costumes. And Beetlejuice was charismatic.
Yes.
Yes. And that was Universal Studios,
We
Japan.
didn't even talk about the food. Did you get the churros?
I think I got a Wicked churro. It was green and
You did.
pink.
You got a Harry Potter churro too, and they like use churro sales to determine who won a Quidditch game
Yeah, that was
or
it.
something. And because people love food, Devin, you can't not talk about the food. That being said, I don't think I ate anything, and if I did, I don't remember.
We got pizza at one point.
Oh, it must have been mid.
Yep.
Hmm.
What was your
Well,
favorite? What was your favorite part of the park?
of
Because
Universal.
like we didn't even talk about Minions. We went to Minion Land and rode Minion Ride.
Gosh, we did go to Minions. I blocked that out. It wasn't
Hmm?
a fun enough ride though. It was one of those like simulation rides where you just sit down and it just moves up and down and stuff.
Yeah,
And there's a screen that projects. Yeah,
the line queue part of the decoration was giant nuclear bombs that were hanging from the
yeah,
ceiling, and that
right.
made me incredibly uncomfortable because we were in Japan. But
Well,
besides
it's
that,
it's just they're being true to the character of Gru from Despicable Me.
yes, sure. Yeah, that
I
was
think
Universal.
my favorite part is it bad if I say the Beetlejuice rock and roll show?
It's not bad. It's just factually wrong.
Eh, that can't be true. Um, See, I don't have the attachment to Harry Potter or Mario like you do. And like that galaxy space ride that we just rode 12 times, like I think it might be that
Yeah,
because
it was good.
we if you it must be good, if not incredible, for you to be like, okay, I'm just gonna ride this thing 12 times. It would feel dishonest to be like, actually, I like the Donkey Kong ride that we rode one time and waited in line for 3 hours for. Except that is what I said with Beauty and the Beast ride at Disney, so I'm a filthy liar. Hmm. What was your favorite part?
I liked basically the whole Harry Potter land. I liked the indoor dark ride. We did a wand ceremony where a lady came out and in Japanese and English, she was clearly an American, like picked out a girl, and we went to Ollivander's shop and was like, "Oh, here's your wand," and then she waved it around and stuff happened, and it was really cute. And we saw a terrifying hippogriff mascot costume, like horse costumes, where
Oh
someone's in the
yeah,
front and in the back.
yeah.
They had one of those on stage. It was terrifying. I didn't like it.
It was
And
fine. It wasn't too bad.
yeah, Jaws ride, Jurassic Park ride. It was just cool walking around the park. I think that Universal Japan was better than Disney Japan. Although once again, there are
Well,
two Disney parks in Japan. There's Tokyo Sea and then there's just Disneyland. We did not do Tokyo Sea, we just did Disney. So my
right.
tier list would go Universal, Disney. Very, very last on the list would be Ghibli, and I know it's hard to compare them, but it
Yeah,
was
they
it
are
was it
kind
was
of
not good.
different things, but it's still based on enjoyment. Yeah, I think I would agree with that. I think Universal, Disney, space, Ghibli.
Yep, and that's the last thing we did in Japan, Universal Studios Park. We definitely didn't do anything else big or exciting at the end of the vacation.
We didn't.
Next time on Hobos Have Happened Sleppenville, we're going to talk about the World Expo 2025.
Whoa.
Bye.
Goodbye.